wanted to share a yarn about the good old days, growing up in complete freedom. There were no computers and not a worry in a big wide world that was our backyard. It was 1976. Gerald Ford had the Yanks, Jimmy Callaghan had the Poms, and Muldoon had New Zealand. But in my hometown, Sydney, Australia, Mal Fraser was the guy. But us kids, we didn't care one iota about that political stuff. Our job was to eat, sleep, and roam the great outdoors. A mouse? Well, that was something we associated with cheese. A ram was something we saw on a farm. And Bluetooth, well, that was something we got when we raided the blueberry bush. It was a time when your school buddy would knock on the door for a play. And that, my good folks, well, that was called a friend request. And if we wanted to listen to some music, well, we just turned on a tranny. You get arrested for that these days. But one thing we did have in 76 was some AI. But you're going to have to wait a bit longer to hear all about that. Ah yes, the 1970s. The olden days. What a decade it was. We were kicking stones and breaking bones, singing the Lido shuffle in soprano tones. Oh, they were the days. And through running streams we built our dreams, climbing tall trees and skinning knees. Oh, they were the days. No helmets, no drones, no mobile phones. We roamed the world, just had to be back home by sundown. I remember when I got my first bike, a sparkling black dragster. Do you remember with the trendy stickers and a sissy bar and the plastic ribbons flying in the wind? Fast as hell it was. I was too cool for school, man. And like all bikes in those days, the brake rubbers used to run out pretty quickly. And so logic dictated that we had to resort to using a pair of our trusty Adidas brakes. Yeah, the bank of mum and dad took care of that. And did you know, even back then, driverless bicycles already existed? Bloody oath they did. This mainly happened when there was no rubber left on the brakes or shoes, and we'd have to revert to jumping off the back at speed and seeing how far that bike could drive on its own before petering out into its eventual parking position. This, folks, was AI in the mid-1970s, just as God intended it, adolescent intelligence at its best. We were kicking stones and breaking bones, singing Mamma Mia in soprano tones. Oh, they were the days. Mamma Mia, here we go again. Running streams, we built our dreams, climbing tall trees and skinning knees. Oh, they were the days. No helmets, no drones, no mobile phones. There was just one rule, had to be back home by sundown. Be back home by sundown. Now me and my brothers, we used to go on really cool family beach holidays down the south coast, where our nana had a little fibro cottage just a stone throw from the estuary. It had a big paddock out the back where Dad would mow pitches for our test cricket matches. Drinks got wheeled out from the tank and the dunny was in the outhouse. And every Sunday morning, Mum and Dad used to send us three boys out for a walk to the baker to collect the freshly baked warm bread. I can still smell the marine diesel and the stale fish bait as we passed by the jetties, to be eventually intercepted by those sweet bakery smells. It was a super special job fetching that fresh bread for Mum and Dad, and they always looked so happy when we got back. But one day we had a sprint race down there, and when we got back, a whole lot sooner than expected, Dad didn't look so happy. No. And even though we had 4 loaves of bread, we were told to walk back to that baker and get 2 more. What the hell, we thought. And when we returned, Mum and Dad were both smiling, holding hands, and seemed so happy with life. I guess there was something really special about that bread. the August of '77, just before my 11th birthday, when the terrible news of the king of rock and roll came. And perhaps it was my first sense of the fragility that life could be. Our heroes could fall. And it would be just 3 years later that John Lennon would be senselessly taken from us. And at 14, I was learning that not all was fair and equal in this world. And so we did what we always did. We went outside, we kicked balls, and we sang like no one was listening. And we imagined all the people living life in peace. We were kicking stones and breaking bones, singing the boys are back in town. Oh God, they were the good old days. The boys are back in town. We were jumping off swings and trampolines. We flew through the air like the flying trapeze. They were the good old days. No helmets, no drones, no mobile phones. There was just one rule: get your asses back by sundown. Be back home by sundown. Be back home by sundown. Be back home by sundown.